Peanut butter. It's creamy, it's spreadable, it's the glue that holds childhood together. From lunchbox PBJs to spoonfuls eaten straight from the jar at 2 a.m. when life feels overwhelming, it's practically sacred in American kitchens. But what if I told you that peanut butter was once at the center of the deadliest food recall in U.S. history? Yep, the comfort food of choice turned into a national nightmare, and it all started with a company that cut a few corners in ways that would make even the greasiest fast food joint look like a health spa. So grab your crackers and stay tuned, because we're diving into the story of peanut butter gone horribly wrong. Right here on History of Food. Before we get into the disaster itself, let's talk about peanut butter's reputation. This stuff is about as American as baseball and arguing over who makes the best barbecue. It's affordable, versatile, and doesn't spoil easily. For parents in the early 2000s, peanut butter wasn't just food, it was a survival tool. Quick sandwich done, the end. Kids fed. That's why when peanut butter suddenly turned into the villain of a national recall, it wasn't just about food safety, it felt like betrayal. Like finding out Santa isn't real, or worse, that Santa's sleigh runs on spoiled mayonnaise. At the center of this mess was the Peanut Corporation of America, PCA for short. Now, with a name like that, you'd think we're talking about a proud, respectable company that probably had Norman Rockwell paintings hanging in the lobby. In reality, PCA was more like the sketchy used car dealership of the peanut world. Based in Blakely, Georgia, PCA wasn't the brand you'd see on shelves. Instead, they sold peanut products as ingredients to other companies. Think crackers, granola bars, dog treats, and yes, jars of peanut butter that ended up in your pantry with other brand names slapped on. So while you might not have heard of PCA before the disaster, you were almost guaranteed to have eaten something with their peanuts in it. The trouble started in 2008. People across the U.S. began falling sick with salmonella poisoning. For most, salmonella means a miserable few days of regretting every meal you've ever eaten. But this outbreak was different. It wasn't just widespread, it was deadly. Investigators traced the infections back to a common source: products containing PCA's peanuts. Suddenly, peanut butter, the same stuff that powered school cafeterias and late-night snacking, was a potential biohazard. Parents everywhere were checking their cupboards like detectives at a crime scene, scanning labels for clues. So what exactly was going on inside PCA's facilities? Picture Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Except instead of whimsical candy rivers, imagine leaky roofs dripping rainwater onto peanuts. Instead of Oompa Loompas singing moral lessons, rodents and roaches were running around like they owned the place. Reports later revealed that the Blakely plant had a laundry list of violations. Mold, dust, unsanitary equipment, you name it. If there were a top 10 ways to get salmonella guide, PCA had it nailed to the wall as a to-do list. And here's the kicker. When tests came back positive for salmonella, management didn't stop production. No, they simply retested until they got a negative result and then shipped the peanuts out anyway. It's like failing a driving test 4 times, then finally passing on the 5th try and deciding you're a Formula One driver. Once the outbreak was traced back to PCA, things escalated quickly. The recall wasn't just for jars of peanut butter. Because PCA sold their peanuts to so many companies, over 3,900 different products had to be recalled. Everything from cookies to trail mix to dog treats was suddenly under suspicion. If it had a peanut in it, people were chucking it in the trash faster than you can say Skippy. This wasn't just inconvenient, it was catastrophic. Parents didn't know what was safe to feed their kids. Companies that had trusted PCA were blindsided. Meanwhile, the death toll was rising. By the end of it, at least 9 people had died, and more than 700 were sick across 46 states. Behind those numbers were real people. Families lost loved ones over something as basic as peanut butter. That's the part that really hits, because peanut butter isn't exotic or risky. Nobody expects danger from a PBJ. It's not like eating blowfish sushi or gas station sushi, or really any sushi with station in the name. Peanut butter is supposed to be safe, boring even, and yet here it was, at the center of a national tragedy. The peanut industry as a whole took a massive hit. Sales plummeted. Even companies that had nothing to do with PCA suffered because consumers weren't taking chances. For months, jars of peanut butter sat on shelves like wallflowers at a middle school dance, untouched and unwanted. Meanwhile, PCA collapsed under the weight of lawsuits, investigations, and public outrage. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2009, but the damage was already done. Here's where the story takes a rare twist. Someone actually went to prison. In the world of food recalls, it's unusual for executives to face serious consequences. But PCA's owner, Stewart Parnell, was sentenced to 28 years in prison, one of the harshest punishments ever handed down in a food safety case. Prosecutors revealed that Parnell knew about the contamination risks, but ordered products shipped anyway. During the trial, one email from him became infamous. When told that shipments were delayed because of Salmonella testing, he replied, "Just ship it." Those 3 words sealed his fate and cemented PCA as the villain of every peanut butter lover's nightmares. So what do we learn from all this besides never trusting a peanut that looks at you funny? For one, the outbreak exposed serious flaws in how food safety was handled at the time. It pushed regulators to strengthen oversight and led to the Food Safety Modernization Act in 2011, which gave the FDA more power to prevent disasters before they happen. It also taught consumers to pay more attention to recalls. Let's be honest, most of us ignore recall notices the way we ignore those "your car's warranty has expired" calls. But after PCA, people realized that recalls aren't just corporate red tape. Sometimes they're literally life and death. The good news is that peanut butter eventually bounced back. Americans just couldn't quit it. Today, jars are back in lunchboxes and pantries, and sales are stronger than ever. Peanut butter is once again the lovable spread that makes celery tolerable and keeps Oreos interesting. But the shadow of PCA still lingers as a cautionary tale. Every time you spread that creamy goodness on toast, there's a tiny reminder that food safety isn't something we can take for granted. So there you have it. The story of how one company turned America's favorite spread into a national crisis. It's a tale of negligence, corruption, and consequences, all centered around something as ordinary as a peanut. The Peanut Corporation of America may be gone, but its legacy lives on in stricter regulations and a hard-learned lesson. If you mess with peanut butter, you mess with America itself. So, next time you're enjoying a PBJ, take a moment to appreciate the fact that your sandwich isn't secretly trying to kill you. And if it is, well, you might want to check the label. Thank you for watching.